Back to school,
yes.
A new term. Education Secretary Bridget Phillipson's on our programme later in the show.
She's busy.
To talk about, big changes that she's announcing today.
Yeah, well, you've got two, really. One, you've got a drive to stop kids being persistently absent. 150,000 kids miss half of schooling. And she's going to crack down. The fines are going up from £60 to £80 if you take your kid out unauthorised for a holiday, say. And then the second one, of course, is the Ofsted shake-up with a more informative school report to one word from, anywhere from inadequate to, is it outstanding? Mm-hmm. I quite like the one words. And I want to know everything behind it, how you get to those one words. I heard you discussing earlier about the nature of inspections. Should they just swoop in the inspectors or should you have notice? Sometimes you can whole series of categories. You can come top in them all, but there might be one you fail on, and then you can be judged inadequate. I think that's wrong and that's unfair. So I think it's how the inspections are carried out.
Yes, and Andrew.
And that was being looked at by the last government. It was after the terrible death of the head teacher,
Ruth Perry,
who took her own life. She was stressed out by her Ofsted report, which downgraded her school. So the last government was looking at changing and improving the system. But I have to say, for once, I'm with Kevin. If I was a parent, I think I'd want one word, because we have to remember who this is for. It's not for the teachers or the unions. Isn't it to inform the parents and the kids how good or bad the school is?
It's just that one word will sum it up. Now, they've got to get it right.
Yeah.
And if you're judged inadequate and you're not, and I had a son who went to a school that was judged inadequate, failing, and I see the impact it can have on it, because all of a sudden no one wants to send their kids there, and you see it struggles with the teachers. But I think we have to grade. You have to grade them. I mean, you can call it A to E if you like. It doesn't matter. You go past a cafe or a restaurant, you'll see a hygiene rating, little green strip. I always look at them, even if I'm not going in, and I want to know whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And you're kind of relieved if it's a 5.
The case of Ruth Perry, and of course Ruth Perry's family have welcomed this change, because the impact, as we know, on Ruth Perry, she took her life after her school was downgraded from the top level, outstanding, to the bottom level, inadequate, in one inspection. The report, Ofsted report, said most aspects of the school were good.
Yep.
Most aspects. But it had to be downgraded because issues with the safeguarding paperwork. The report said records of safeguarding concerns were poor and not all the required employment checks were complete for some staff. So, safeguarding, obviously hugely important. But what I would have thought was, in that case, intervene on safeguarding immediately. But if the education is outstanding, then allow parents to know that the education is outstanding and support the head teacher in fixing the problem.
You would assume when it was such a big downgrade, a negative, that something had gone horribly wrong with the standards in the classroom. And actually, I think that's what parents are most concerned about, what's happening in the classroom. Although kids being taught well.
Yeah, safeguarding, obviously, a big issue.
It is, but as a parent now, a grandparent, I can't see how they can go. The system's got to be wrong if you go from the top to the bottom just because of one aspect. Rather than you have however many categories, you get a mark and then you get an average.
Yeah.
Oh, you would have thought that would have been more logical, and absolutely horrific, taking her own life because she felt humiliated and let people down. And you hear her sister speak, and her sister speaks very well, and I think there is a case there. And sometimes we put teachers and heads under too much pressure, but at the same time, I think a single word, a letter or a number, a grading system, if you're a busy parent, that's a lot easier.
I agree.
Well, the original report cards were actually introduced in New York, and back then they did have a single grade for the overall school. What the government is saying is they're going to have 4 categories: education, behaviour, personal development and leadership. But they're going to do an assessment on each one. And I think this year it's going to be with the same language. So if you are a parent or if you're a head teacher worrying about your school and you're downgraded from satisfactory to inadequate on education, that will be as big and as public and as pressurising as the overall grade, I would say. And there's a real tension here because on the one hand, of course you want to be supportive and help the head teachers to do their jobs. But what you don't want, and I did see some of this when I was doing the job back then, was the attitude, which you see in sometimes, which is, well, you know, we're being unfairly criticised because this is all you can expect from kids around here, and that isn't good enough. And you do need to have that pressure on a school to do better and to improve and not to make excuses. And it needs to be done in a fair way, in a supportive way. But if in the end you take away the judgment, then you take away the pressure to do better for kids. And that's the thing they have to be careful to avoid.
You've got to keep the judgment. I think judgment's important, but you've got to take into account where the school is and the intake and the resources of that school. They're all factors.
That's right. Which means that the school, with those challenges, which does well, that should be hugely praised. It's harder to do that. But if you do badly with those pressures and say, look, you know, what do you expect? That's what's not good.
And it should be first and foremost what's best for the children and the kids in the classroom. And my fear is that this looks more like it's worrying more about the feelings of the teachers.
But there are concerns over how inspections are carried out, which I think should be taken into account.
But they were looking at that already.
And it's a kind of a privatised system now, isn't it? Ofsted doesn't employ most of the inspectors. They're all consultants, so they're under pressure
former
themselves.
Head teachers, a lot of them.
But nevertheless, they're not directly controlled. I think that's been raised as an issue before, that they're worried they won't get another contract. You know, there's pressure there too. So I think the system did need improving.
Well, Bridget Phillipson, who is the Education Secretary, says there is something else that needs improving, and that is the presence of children at schools. She says there is an absence epidemic. Parents who allow their children to regularly skip school are significantly denting. Now, this is interesting. Their future earning potential.
Right.
She says too many parents believe it's OK to take their children out because of cheaper holidays, because of unpopular subjects, for birthday treats, or even a runny nose. And the Department for Education has found that for every day missed from the classroom, it will cost absent children hundreds of pounds in wages over their lifetime. I wonder how this message
How do they calculate
will
that?
land.
Yeah, well...
How do they calculate
if there's a family who think it's worth paying the fine, which is now going to go to £160 for regular offenders, but they're going to get perhaps hundreds and hundreds of a holiday.
Much cheaper.
And they think, possibly, that holiday will contribute to the well-being and education of their child. I'm not sure that being told that those 5 days, school days out, are going to lead to a worse
families
job.
Families get fleeced when they take their children on holiday. In school holiday, they get fleeced. The cost is through the roof, and that's why parents... I don't know how they're going to square the circle here.
You've got to be really careful here. 90% of the fines for parents keeping their children out of school are for holidays, unauthorised absences. And, you know, there is a big challenge after the pandemic with children, some children not going into school, finding it hard to go into school, but parents choosing to take their kids out for holidays is a parental choice. And I'm afraid all the evidence is that missing days, even 1 day or 2 days, dents your progress, particularly in maths. That means you're less likely to get good grades, and less likely to get good grades means you end up with your earning potential in future being dented. And I remember, you know, saying to the experts, surely it's OK for parents to take their kids out for a few days because the holidays are cheaper. Are we not being too heavy-handed? And they said, honestly, that is so wrong. Taking your kids out from school for holidays has a permanent impact upon their education, and you shouldn't do it.
Hang on now, right? I think it's important kids go to school and you learn, and I think something like 2 in 5 of the persistently absent are from disadvantaged backgrounds. Education is their hope in life, their way out. So
That's right.
It's actually more important than if you've got loaded parents who see you all right with a trust fund. But wasn't the case when you were Education Secretary that heads had discretion to allow holidays, but then Gove, when he was Education Secretary, turned it. So if you exercise that discretion, you were then marked down because it was counted as an absence. So you went down the old rankings we've been talking about in Ofsted. I think discretion for heads to say you can have a holiday. What about kids, right? In the diverse Britain we are today, who have family members far and wide around the globe, want to go to India, the Caribbean, Ukraine, wherever. Isn't that a good thing?
Well, we were very
authorised. I took my son to Everest Base Camp, trekked through Nepal.
What, during school time?
It was 3 weeks. 2 weeks were over Easter, but we couldn't do it. You just can't do it in time. And the school, I had to make the case to the school, look, going off to a country with a very different culture, doing this. You know, I promise he'll, work hard when he comes back. And the head gave us the week as a result. It was before fine. I would say he gained in his education from going to Nepal.
You see, this is what I think, that a lot of parents who take their children out for holidays, the message won't land. Oh, well, in the future, they won't earn as much. Because the parents will think they've just had the most incredible experience. I just wonder whether her messaging on this is effective.
Or if it's whether you can have a family holiday for a week or two in Spain or Greece or wherever or not. And you can't afford that Oasis-style surge pricing in the summer holidays, but you can go at the end of July when often schools are running down anyway. And you ask your kids to get less homework and... the lessons aren't going at the 100% they were earlier.
But you have to think about the practicalities of this. If you are, in your case, a one-off, special Everest moment, you're going to lose 5 days of maths, but the school says we're going to authorise this because it's so special and we're going to work out how we're going to find a way to catch up those 5 days. You can see why, in that circumstance, it's an exception. If you send a message out there, if parents want to take their kids out because holidays are cheaper in school times, that's OK. And it starts happening in a big way, those children are not going to get the catch-up that they need. And to do so would be incredibly expensive and difficult to manage. And if you lose a week of maths teaching and you don't catch it up, that dents your whole progress in mathematics. So, I started from your view, which was, surely it's OK. Honestly, the reason she's saying these things is because the education world say the kids never recover from it. And that is why, if you go back to Tony Blair, do you remember he tried to do those truancy sweeps where they sent people out trying to find parents and kids where they're truanting and find them? That never worked because those were kids where the fine was never going to deter them. In the case of holidays, the reason why so many of the fines are for parents taking the kids on holiday is because they think actually the fine is probably going to deter them, and they think that the deterring is actually better for schools.
Well, there's no
education.
shame in it, is there? I mean, it would... is it 80 quid?
So,
I think it was 160.
But 160 for persistence.
Yeah, from today, parents in England face these higher fines. So let me tell you what they are. School absence fines have increased from £60 to £80, but will now rise to £160 if unpaid within 21 days, rather than previously £120. But if the same parent is fined again within a 3-year period, the fine is £160 from the start.
What happens if they don't pay it?
Well, they end up with going through to a court process.
Really?
And the reason why the
truancy... criminalise a family over this?
Well, the reason why the truancy sweeps didn't work...
Like a parking fine. You don't pay it, you could end up with a bailiff.
It'll be a civil process. It's not a criminal process, it's a civil process.
Right.
But absolutely.
Stealing the desk from the kid does the homework on. Yeah.
It's very
the thing is, though,
this.
the reason the Conservative government introduced it, the reason Michael Gove introduced the fines, was because the evidence is that this is damaging to children's education. And isn't that what it's all about?
I still think it's very difficult if you're a family, you think we won't be able to go on holiday this year unless we take them out for a week, the week before, or just for a few days just before term, because it's so much cheaper. I
think the big question we need to ask her later today is she going to resist pressure from some parts of the teaching union world to drop the SATs tests for 11-year-olds independently marked? Because all of that assessment of a school's progress depends upon those test results, and that's the one thing she must be really firm on, because I think that would be such a retrograde step.
Again, it's how you do the test, not whether you have the test, isn't it? And that's, quite what you test. There's got to be an ongoing debate along there. But I think it's good that everybody is doing the same exams, and make sure they were same in private schools as well as the real public schools too, so you can monitor the progress and you can see where a kid is compared to all the others, both within a class, within a school, within an area, within the country. I don't know. No, I agree with you. I think you need those tests.
You mentioned the phrase surge pricing. Did either of you get tickets or try and get tickets to see Oasis?
They're not my bag.
OK.
So, no.
Would you be happy with surge pricing to see ABBA?
No.
Andrew, because I know you love
I do.
ABBA.
I would be broken-hearted if I didn't get the tickets, but I would probably pay the surge pricing to see them, and that's what they know, because the extraordinary explosion of interest in the Oasis concerts and reunion is amazing. But I think it's just very sad that it's happened.
It was dynamic pricing.
Yeah.
It happened
It's called rip-off, in my view.
Ticketmaster.
Andrew, it's the market economy. It's
your market economy.
It's the market economy.
It's your market economy now. If your market economy now,
if the demand is bigger than the supply, the price goes up.
But it always happens.
It's what airlines do.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is. It's not just Ticketmaster. I think there are 4 ticket sellers on this. I don't like it. I would say everything should be at the price.
They're like tickets.
We all buy the same.
They're like tickets outside a football stadium, aren't they?
They are. But you've got to but you've got the official sellers, and then you've got the people who buy them, and then say, there was someone saying, I've flogged mine for $6.5 grand. They're all mini tanks.
Yeah, but that's resale.
Like via Google.
That's resale.
But
we're talking about the original selling.
No,
what should the price be?
I don't like. But
if they set the price at 150 quid, and there's 10 times people want to buy them, they've made a mistake. They should have set the price at 500 quid. Yeah. That is the market economy. Now, you may not like it, Andrew, but that is the market.
The people who set it, though, aren't Ticketmaster. It is the Gallagher brothers. It's Oasis. They decide how much they're going to make with the company.
And they
chose to do dynamic pricing.
Do you remember at the beginning of this, they said, this isn't about the money. When they're getting back to it, they said, this isn't about the money. Really? Noel and Liam? Really? It's not about the money?
Kevin,
I think it is.
Did you say you tried to get tickets?
No. If somebody wants to give me a free ticket, I'll go. But I'll...
this wasn't an opportunity for you to just ask, beg.
I'm being big-hearted.
A friend of mine did, and they had their laptop linked to however you do it. And finally, at 4:30, they got through, bang, down it went. All day they've been trying.
I'd quite like no surge charging, but I can see why it happens, as airlines do. But I'd like an end to touting and close down all these sites and these people who just no intention of going and are just making money out of real fans. I'd just like that outlawed somehow.
What's your favourite Oasis song?
Don't Look Back in Anger.
Mine too, actually. It's the only one I can think of.
What's your second favourite?
I don't know anymore.
Let's not go there.
When the reunion was started, I actually looked them up and thought, I like that one.
I like his.
No, I do like that one.
What's extraordinary is one MP, the Labour MP for Coventry South, Zara Sultana, posted on X, we should nationalise Ticketmaster. And which meant that the Commons leader, Lucy Powell, was asked whether we should nationalise Ticketmaster. I don't think we need to.
Does she know it's a US company, listed over in the States?
Tricky.
Ticketmaster isn't a British company.
It would have been amazing, though, if Oasis had said, we're going to have just 4 set prices.
Yeah.
And I think I would have expected that from Oasis, actually.
Yeah.
No, Ed Sheeran's done that. And he's also said no resale, and then you get loads of checks, because if you try and sell it to somebody else.
And you would think...
it's hard to clamp down, but you can. But Ricky Gervais...
I'm not talking about the resale.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the main sellers. Just 4 levels. And then you don't get panicky the longer you're waiting for in the queue about how much you're going to end up paying.
Look at who they are. They champion the working class. That's part of their shtick. And they were very critical of Keir Starmer, saying he's betrayed the working class. I think this is betraying some of their fans, actually, who are not got very much money.
There we go.
Well, they're going to have a lot less if they go to any of these gigs.
If they get,
there is a simple solution. Do more shows.
Well, they will. And they will. They've already announced 3 more, Ed, already, haven't they?
Yeah, but they've brilliantly... there's a real demand, and they've brilliantly marketed it.
It's been a brilliant marketing operation.
So everyone who's disappointed, there'll be more shows.
Yeah.
And then we'll go through
Are you going, Susanna?
No. I did sign up for pre-sale, but got nowhere.
Right.
And then I just saw all the experiences of people waiting in the queues and thought, do you know what? I was lucky enough to see them at Nebworth.
Yeah.
It was one of the best nights of my life.
Oh, was it?
So actually, I kind of feel like...
Yeah.
But you saw Taylor Swift.
I saw Taylor Swift this summer.
I saw Taylor
Oh,
Swift.
very
I would
good.
say Taylor Swift was one of the most overwhelming live experiences I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, really?
It's quite astonishing. And I was, you know, and you feel a slight outsider because it's really, I mean, there were so many mums and daughters and teenagers and 20-somethings who knew all the words, and I didn't, so I was observing this. However, the highlight was I turned to this little 7-year-old girl sitting next to me, and we swapped friendship bracelets.
Yeah, I saw the police were doing that on Wembley Way, swapping friendship bracelets. They had armfuls.
She was a bit shocked. I
of
said,
them.
do you want to swap? And she kind of...
Love it,
What?
love it.
We did.
You didn't see Bruce Springsteen then?
No.
He used to be, I know, you see.
Did you?
I did.
How many times have you seen Bruce Springsteen?
3, but I went this recent European tour. I went at the beginning in Cardiff and the end in Wembley. Absolutely fantastic. 3 hours. You see, you can't beat a live experience. I can see why all the Oasis fans, you can watch it on TV, you can listen to it, Alexa play, whatever, but you cannot beat going.
And talking about a live experience, our band, we're playing a street party next Sunday.
Oh.
We are playing the Killers.
Do you know what? I'm busy.
What's the dynamic pricing
I'm sure you're going to kill
The
it.
dynamic pricing is...
If I buy a ticket right now, how much will it cost me? But if I wait
For
until
you,
the end of the programme...
I'll cut you a special deal. I'll cut you a special
the
deal.
way it is, if you say you'll go now, you'll get 20 quid. If you go, say, next Saturday, you pay your
14.
50 to go. Yeah.
We've moved on from the Who and the Ramones to Carly Rae Jepsen.
Before we... I look forward to it. Before we go,
I'm
I
busy,
just
Ed.
want to pay
I'm washing
tribute
my hair.
this morning to an incredible woman. This is charity fundraiser Claire Lomas. Now, you may remember her because we've done interviews with her, and she has been an inspiration, frankly, for many disability campaigners, but she has died at the age of 44 following an accident in the Middle East. Now, Claire was, frankly, a motivator for everybody. She raised hundreds of thousands of pounds for charity. She had been paralysed from the chest down in an accident.
I never thought I'd be happy and be paralysed.
A wife, mother and daughter, Claire Lomas was known as an inspirational fundraiser and a powerhouse of positivity. Claire was paralysed from the chest down in 2007 after a horse riding accident, which broke her neck, back, ribs and punctured a lung. She spoke candidly about how much it changed her life on Good Morning Britain in 2021.
All those dreams and hopes that I had came to a grinding halt, and it wasn't without some really tough times to get through it.
Claire started chasing new dreams, raising nearly £1 million for charity. In 2012, she made global headlines after becoming the first person to complete a marathon in a bionic suit. It took her 17 days to reach the finish line in London, with help from husband Dan along the way. And in 2021, her love of motorbikes inspired her to complete the London Marathon again, but this time in a wheelchair and wearing her bike leathers. A qualified pilot and motivational speaker, Claire said the biggest of changes can bring the best opportunities, and she made sure her disability did not stop her from doing all the things she loved. Well, it was a privilege to spend time with Claire, and I just, on behalf of everybody here, send our love to her husband Dan and to her family. Back when she had the accident, doctors told her she was unlikely to ever walk again, and she told them, well, you don't know who you're dealing with.
She's the type of person you'd hope to be if that happened to you, but you couldn't guarantee it, and she lived life to the full.
Absolutely.
And it's
incredible.
Tragic. It's cut short at that age.
What an inspiration.
Yeah, total inspiration. Lots of love to Claire's family. Enormous loss.